brain slews, slick with ectoplasmic juice. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. With genealogy, with spiritual topography. Questions for your answers, we are data necromancers.
Welcome to the pod.
Welcome to the pod. Doink
Welcome to the pod, you doinka doinks.
We must give our thanks to our Lord and Savior Magic Toaster.
Toasty.
Alright, I got all my crap.
There's a baby sleeping in
There's a
the
baby
other
sleeping.
room.
So I hit up, did I send you what Spotify sent me when I asked about our ad running?
Something about $2. What did they say?
I hit them up because I wanted to blast MAWPOD into the Spotify ether.
Yeah.
And so you gotta get a little chat going. And we had a budget of almost $300, and you set a frequency, and for each ad is bid upon, and whoever has the highest bidder gets the ad slot. That's how complicated it is. But I was confused because I was only billed for $2. So I was like, okay, do I need to refund Megan the $250?
Oh, I see.
Or do I need to give her my half because the ad is still I don't know what's happening. And it's
like
not
you gave
clear.
them $300 and they only used $2 of it.
Yes. And I was so confused. So I asked them.
Yeah, when you sent me that, I did not understand what was going on.
This is the response I got. To explain this, your credit or debit card will be charged at the end of each month or when your total ad spend across all campaign reaches a given billing threshold. There are a number of factors that determine when your credit card gets charged, such as your current budget, your payment history, and plus more. As your campaigns progress, you can expect to see a longer duration between charges to minimize the number of bills you will receive.
Who the fuck designed this system?
And then guess what? He logged off. Like, I couldn't even... there was no... that.
I still don't understand.
Goodbye.
I'm glad you understand.
Yeah, whatever.
No, just
I need to turn this down.
keep the money. You can use it.
No, it's still going. It's not done yet. It's going. I'm not even going to give the details because it's embarrassing.
We recorded an ad. We wrote a script. And
it's really heady. I played it back for Lucas and he goes, it's weird, but it's on brand.
It's on brand for us, but I'm sure if someone listened to it, they'd be like, what the fuck? Who are you guys and where did you come from and why do you exist? And those are the questions we try to ask ourselves as well.
That's why we're here.
And we're fucking happy to be here, motherfuckers. Man, what do you even... We watched those Stroad videos, right?
I felt like, it was Ruby iPad time and Lydia was sitting and I was eating dinner and I put on one of those videos and it just felt right. Like I felt like the old man that I aspire to be deep down. Just talking about how backwards American highway infrastructure is and how it's this beautiful, really tangled ball of wax where there's a lot of history of car companies destroying any public transit for years, and they've obviously succeeded. But on top of that, you have America has a lot of health issues with obesity and stuff because none of us are walking anywhere.
No exercise
There's
needed.
No exercise. All the people that die on roads, and it takes people dying on a road, pedestrians and whatnot. I actually have a family friend, Chris Lamott. His daughter was hit by a vehicle going 55 miles an hour because she was leaving school. It was and it takes your daughter being on the brink of death to be like, we should consider the pedestrians. It's like, what?
The thing that keeps popping back into my head is you don't know it's not going to work unless you try it. And now we've tried it and we need to go away from it.
Yeah, and I think it's really expensive and...
Well, they have the money. They just don't want to spend it on
we just
roads.
dropped $95 billion on
They'd rather
3 wars
blow up children around the world. So it's not that they don't have the money. They just want to buy bombs.
They don't have the money.
It's not that they don't have the money. But it seems so like it. Hindsight is 2020, and if you were a fresh immigrant here in America and you moved from New York City out west somewhere and all you saw for miles was space, wouldn't you just plop a fucking Burger King on a huge lot and just say, fuck it, let's make a giant parking lot too? Instead of like a similarly sized plot of land having multiple businesses on it with like street parking or like to encourage walking, I just feel like because the first thing that our ancestors did when they got here was eradicate everybody who was here, they just saw infinite space to move into. And they didn't think about efficiency at all.
I often think about what if America wasn't available for expansion.
Yeah.
What would have happened? It almost seems purposeful and like a
I think England would have
holistic-
imploded.
Yeah.
Like there would have been some kind of civil war in there.
I have a funny Stroads story. I went to physical therapy
Mm-hmm.
and I asked her, I was like, I looked out into the vast labyrinth of high-speed parking lots because it was in the suburbs or whatever. There's no real suburbs down here. It's just highway-laden.
There's
business
industrial
and
business
traffic.
parks.
Yeah.
I live in an industrial business park.
Yeah, there's no suburbs in Texas, it feels like. Maybe outside of Dallas and Houston. But I was like, is there anywhere I can walk to? And she's like, yeah, they're closed. She's like, well, there's a Torchy's at the end of this. And I looked at her as like, I'd rather deep fry my eyelids than go to Torchy's. And she laughed. And so I walked down, evading getting hit by high-speed cars. And my restaurant consultant brain turns on because I came across an amazing Indian spot.
Oh,
First of all, it's called
salt and pepper.
It's called Salt and Pepper, so you get a red flag for that. Your name does not match up with the cuisine you serve.
It's interesting though. It's provocative.
It is provocative. There was an oyster place, the Torchy's, and then the Salt and Pepper place, and a pho spot. And I'm like, they're all suffering.
There's an oyster spot in the strip mall?
Yeah. Because they're trying to be walkable, fun little places.
Yeah.
And, these people are trying to open up a restaurant. But guess what? You pick to be on the outskirts of a Stroad. And when you are in high speed traffic dense areas, those places die. Mm-hmm. Because Torchy's is going to get people willing to park there because
that's an Austin institution.
It's an Austin institution.
And people are looking for it.
They have hot dogs and chicken fingers on tortillas, and that's like their staple. And but these other places are dying because you have to jump off the current of the 65 mile an hour speed limit into the throes of a ditch in order to find a nice little local business. This is
awful. So definition of Stroad, it's like a combination of street and road, because roads are meant to be high speed, moving efficiently, so not a lot of exits, not a lot of stops. They're supposed to get cars from point A to point B. Streets are supposed to be conducive to pedestrians moving about, and things are at eye level. You can experience, window shopping. There's like residences above, and the space down below has a lot more versatility and like can be a flower shop, 1 year, and then next year it's a coffee shop, and then it's a a butcher shop. It's more fluid. It can like move and grow with the actual people who inhabit the space. Whereas the things that they put in like big box stores, Walmart
parking lots,
can only be Walmart. and they just tore down an entire Home Depot. You know, and you see the changes happening all around town. Like everywhere I go, they're working on the bike lanes to make them more separate, because when you have bikes moving on roads, they need a median in order for it to really be safe.
I was actually interviewed by the city as I was biking with Ruby.
Hell yeah.
And they're like, how do you feel about this? And I was like, oh, I just risk my life on the day to day.
Yeah.
So I don't ever really think about it. I just know that that's what comes with the territory. And she was like, yeah, well, we're putting a bike lane here. I was like, oh, that's good to know.
Because, yeah, there are bike lanes on Lamar and Quad. But as far as them being, like, feeling like you're not going to get hit by a car, no way.
I personally don't care for putting bike lanes in high traffic areas, because to me, I'm like, it is still so dangerous.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis, they have bike dedicated roads that go throughout the entire city. There's one that goes all the way to Chicago.
Whoa, that's amazing.
There are no cars allowed on them.
They have something similar to that on Airport, like that, you know, that red path that they're putting in on both sides of Airport. It's just for bikes.
Is it like away from the street?
Yeah, there's like a whole sidewalk between it and the street, and it has like two-way lanes that are painted just for bikes.
Good. Yeah, because I would never bike. Even if there was a bike lane on Airport, you wouldn't catch me dead on it.
No way. People drive literally sour-faced.
Yeah, and it's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant experience. And like in New York City, it was fun to bike around because traffic's not going very fast. You have massive bike lanes, and there's tons of shops and restaurants, and you can be like, oh, this is cool. Like,
that's the feeling of being in the city. You're just like surrounded by all this cool stuff and all these things you can look at and experience and do. But there's no similar experience in a suburban area. There's nowhere to go and like feel invigorated by the space. You have to like go seek it out in a city.
I started, shout out Resident Maverick on the Discord. He showed me some Instagram accounts. Why is that turning off? The sound machine has just faded away. Is it still there?
Do you want me to go check? Goodbye, everybody. It was nice knowing you.
What the fuck? Dude, I don't know about how I feel about telling my exorcism story on the pod, but I feel like it's on brand. Okay, I'm going to tell my exorcism story on pod. She's going to go check on why my sound machine that I keep on for the baby is now off. That's really weird. It's been on all night and all day, and it's now 4 p.m. Is it still there?
This thing, right?
Yeah.
Can we test it in another plug?
Well, what was strange is that it faded away.
Yeah, the fading was...
It's fine. You can just
go plug it back in?
Yeah, I'll get the ghost out of it later. Maybe it's because I'm about to tell the exorcism story.
Was it on a timer? Because I think this light was blinking.
There is a timer, but it's been on all freaking day.
We'll have to
whatever. I'll just look at it later. Okay. Where do I start? We start at the beginning. I'm having this dream about my grandma and I are in a grocery store, and I remember this grocery store very vividly. I don't think it's there anymore. I think it was paved over by the highway, to be honest. I was going to hit up Teresa and see if she could remember if there's a grocery store over there. And I'm in the cart, and I'm with my grandma, and I get out of the cart, and we're checking out, and I walk through these doors. I'm going down this hallway, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then the hallway starts turning into something different, and suddenly I'm in like this old farmhouse, and I'm like, this isn't the grocery store anymore. And I've noticed in, there's dream stories. I've always been a vivid dreamer, but when I start to get confused in the dream, that's when I feel like there is a different sort of quantum influence happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say like presence or influence or
Takes me out, and then I'm like,
you're like,
okay,
this
well,
isn't just my influence anymore.
yeah, Grandma and I were gonna go to the circus, and then we were gonna eat smash burgers on top of the Empire State Building. Suddenly it's not that anymore. I'm in an abandoned farmhouse, and I'm looking out, and it's vast. It almost feels like Beetlejuice. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what the fuck? I'm like, where's the grocery store? Where's my grandma? And I look, and I see the address, and I'm like, this is weird. And this African American Amazon lady comes, and she's carrying this really crazy package, and I'm like, oh, is that for me? And she goes, oh, I don't know. She's like, the address is right. And she puts it down. I'm like, oh, that's fine. How are you doing? And she was really weirded out that I was asking her how she was doing. And she gives me the package, and I take the package, and I'm like, it's all wrinkly and weird. And I turn around in the house, and Damien is there. And Damien he owns this haunted artifact museum. And
He's besieged by energies.
yeah, and he thinks it's part of his shtick.
I don't think he would be himself without all of those intervening forces.
Yeah, and Megan, we saw him talk, and he's definitely a character. And I'm like, Damien, what are you doing? What are you doing in my dream? He's like, oh, this is the package I was waiting for. And he opens it up, and it's this big doll, and he puts the doll down. And I'm like, didn't you move it? I'm questioning him. I'm like, what are you doing here? I thought you were in San Marcos. And he's like, oh, no, I was, and it was super animated, almost a pulsating breath of being conscious.
Whoa.
And then collapsing. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? And he's getting really sweaty, and he's like, and he's pointing to this weird device on his chest, and I'm like,
whoa.
I look at the device, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Like a pacemaker?
It's it looked like a old 60s audio dial or something. If you have an old piece of audio recording equipment, or a radio or something, it's got
there's red blinking lights and switches and knobs.
A big dial is what I remember. And as he's saying this, for the 5th time, he's reanimating, the doll's arm goes like this, and I look over at the doll, and he does it again, and it goes foop, and I was like,
so his life force is tied into the doll?
well, I was making a connection. I didn't understand what was happening, and suddenly Dream Whitney gets taken by big dick energy Dream Whitney, and I am now operating not as myself, but I have all this confidence and all this gusto, and I'm just telling what's in the doll, you have no chance, get the fuck out. You have no chance. Don't even bother. And every time I'm giving it that sort of vibe or energy, or saying that in my head, it's lashing back out at me you would assume an exorcist. Yeah, its face was almost...
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Exactly.
Let Jesus fuck you.
It was almost animated, and I was like, get out. Give up. Just give up. Are you ready? Are you done? Are you just some part of me that I've never experienced
That's so
before,
cool.
which is so cool to, in the dreamscape, get a taste of that
dude, higher
big
self
dick
operating.
Yeah,
that's huge.
And the doll starts on fire, and it goes dead.
Wiggle
Booty wiggle. And suddenly this little wispy poof of black smoke is hovering above the doll head.
Yeah.
And it's misty a little bit, and I swoom it to this very particular corner of this abandoned house, and right before I banish it or whatever, or move it out of the house, this really cartoony message pops up, and it says, no destination selected. And I was like,
Oh.
in the dream, I was like, I don't know what that means. Whoop. And I just like sent it anyways.
I wonder where it ended up.
And so I shot up. I woke up. I was like, geez, I need a pen. Like, what the fuck was that? And I tell Lucas it. And I was like, do I need to contact Damien? Because I have his email or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you need to fucking email Sarah. Like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I've never performed, done, even had a dream remotely like that.
Yeah.
Also, where has this big dick Whitney been
You know she's
hiding?
been in there the whole time.
I know. And I got a taste of it. That's a wiggle butt if I've ever seen one.
She wiggling, man. Okay, that, first of all, the detail that you can access in your dream visions is unprecedented. Like the quality of the doll, what happens when you try to banish the energy that's inside of it. Like, that's nuts. That is so cool. But the fact that you were trying to remove the energy and send it somewhere else, and then your brain like generated this sort of vision of like, you didn't pick the spot, dummy.
Oops.
You didn't complete the ritual. You can't complete the ritual if you don't know where it's gonna go.
So I hit up Sarah and I'm like, hey, is Damien okay? I just didn't even really tell her about the dream. I was like, I performed an exorcism and I sent off this energy. What do I need to do or whatever? And she was like, can you describe to me this doll? Because I need to know. And Dream Whitney's fine. She's like, you're fine. Don't worry about it. She's like, but Dream Damien might not be fine. And she's like, text me. What are you doing? Why call me?
Email me.
Don't
What the
email
fuck?
me. And I was like, oh shit. Well, I don't think I had your number. And so I tell her, like, the doll looked like this. You know, it was like 2 to 3 feet long. It had a black dress and dark hair. And he had a device on him. And she emails back and she's like, I just gave Damien a doll like that, like the other day. And the doll is from my foster mother's house. And she goes, that shit is haunted as fuck. And she said the device, she's like, it's funny you say that. She's like, I don't know if it's a device or a vice. He has disclosed a personal illness with Sarah. And she was like, I'll monitor it. Okay, intermission.
Reflections on Whitney's dream voyage. I feel like the nights where I have a dream that I can remember in such great detail are very few and far between. Baby Booger is awake. The most vivid and terrifying dream I can remember had like very grotesque imagery. And I don't know what it amounts to in reality, but hi Bougie. The Poochie Nanny is present in the room. Can't be careful getting through the minefield. Poochie Nanny! She's already so much more like with it. Look at her stand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that scary? It's the rice maker. Oh, you stink.
Hi, Puccinani. Hi, babe.
So then last night, I'm having this dream, and I'm at this stalker's wedding.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm like, so like, I don't give a fuck at this wedding. I'm like, oh, this food sucks. This is dumb. Like, I was trouncing around, didn't really know anybody there. Had like weird 70s vibes. And I'm going through like these 70s labyrinth hotel rooms that are all like broken down and boarded up.
She's going through a Rolodex of emotions right now. It's incredible.
Whoa.
She's like,
And I get a tap on the shoulder. Here I am confused. Somebody's influencing the dream now. And I'm like, I'm having fun at this like stupid dumb wedding. And these creepy people. And I turn around and it's Sarah.
Oh, hello, Sarah.
And it's not Dream Sarah, because Dream Sarah is aggressive in a good way and loud and almost like mom. Like, what are you doing? Come on with my mom.
Oh.
But this, she's like, I don't know about the groom, and I'm a little bit worried about the bride. And she like starts giving me this stuff, and she's wearing like Neo clothes. Like she's got a big leather jacket on and like these crazy boots, and I'm like,
Residual
Sarah,
self-image.
I feel like suddenly I'm like, am I wearing shoes? I'm never wearing shoes in my dream. Like suddenly I'm like super self-conscious.
Do I look cool?
And we go back to quote unquote my house, which is a combination of my grandma's house and Teresa's living room, which I'm always dreaming about Teresa's house. And Sarah's like, okay. And she's got all these like literally, I'll skip the details, but she lays down and she's like, let's see what's going on. You know, I could tell like this was like an assessment or something.
Uh-huh.
So she lays down and she wants me to like summon anything that's going on or bring anything to the surface.
She lays on the ground in the dream?
She lays on this like, it's not a couch. It's like a big flat surface, but it is couch-like.
Okay.
Like a table almost.
Yeah.
And the lights go off and I close my eyes and I hear Sarah giggling. She goes, oh, here comes Ruby.
Aww.
And I was like, I don't feel Ruby. I feel something else. And something else like came whooshing in my brain to like my right side. And suddenly I had really intense eye pain.
Ooh.
And I hear Sarah go, that's interesting. And as she's saying that, I wake up.
Damn. That's so cool, though.
I wake up from the eye pain. And I'm like, shit.
Go back to sleep.
I got pain. My eye hurts. What the hell is going on? And I can just kind of like feel Sarah's presence. Like, just come on. Go back to sleep. No pressure.
Go back to sleep now. Do it.
Yeah,
Do it now.
Like, not gonna happen. And I did eventually fall back asleep, but it didn't pick up from the same dream. Hi, Google Muffin. Give me that boob.
Where that boob at?
It's like I know it's back here. They don't make Aprilia nursing shirts.
What a bummer. What a missed opportunity.
You know how many lactating Aprilia riders there are out there? Yeah.
Lydia, she's a kitty.
The frick is this?
But not for long.
Hello?
Microphone. Your dream voyage is incredibly interesting to hear about. Do you think that there's some kind of directional movement that you are meant to undertake with like this sort of mental image as your starting point? Like, do you feel pushed on a journey or like a quest? Anything to unravel? Or is it not linear like that?
It's not linear like that.
Sort of like you're witnessing all these different peaks and troughs in the landscape, and like it's just about noticing what's going on out there.
I feel like since joining a metaphysical spiritual group and collectively meditating and talking about, you know, the strange things that happen, having a community, I will get random dreams that are clearly tapping in, because this isn't the first dream I've had that's
related to your group.
Somebody else that needs something. So if we're all practicing meditation together, it makes sense to kind of all be tethered. When I first met Sarah and started our classes, I had a dream about her, and she was wearing all this Egyptian stuff. I was like, Sarah, I had a dream. And she would do this a lot when we first met. She's like, was I wearing all pink and I had all this crazy Egyptian jewelry? And I was like, yeah! She's like, yeah, that's how I come to people in dreams. She's like, I don't really get it, but she's like, I'm down. Like, she would always, like, because you're on the spot, so I'm like stuttering and I don't know how to find the words. So I'm like, you're like, pause, and then she'll be like, Phoom.
This is exactly what I was doing.
It was the same thing with my llama. I was like, man, I was riding my motorcycle and suddenly my llama came to me and he was
like a weird cartoon.
Freaking
you out.
And I was like, yeah. It's also just so, it makes you feel less alone.
Absolutely.
Because these weird experiences are not something I talk about to anybody.
Yeah.
They're just like me. So to have somebody who's like, yeah, you're not weird. What the fuck's wrong with you?
This is why this and this. Thank you. Like, and it's cool because every time you have that experience and you share it with her and she, boomerangs something back, it just strengthens the connection that you have.
The validation is like what you need to hone.
Yeah.
Because if you were practicing something and somebody was, that's not right, or discrediting you, or it would feel, you wouldn't sharpen your skills.
Well, exactly. I think the most important part of honing those skills is like believing in their efficacy, I feel like.
Yes.
And then when you get to test it and prove that you're actually doing something, of course it makes it stronger. She's so beautiful.
Thank you. It's gonna be another Ruby.
Nah, she gonna be different.
Ruby is one of a kind. And that flashed right when you got a ping.
It's interesting.
Ruby's OCD has been like progressively getting pretty intense.
How do you curb that?
Well, that's where I was like, Lucas, I think we gotta talk to somebody because I don't want to make it worse. I don't know what to do.
Do you have any OCD tendencies?
No, I mean, when I was diagnosed with anxiety and ADHD, they showed me like the spectrum and how their anxiety disorders can fluctuate between intensities and variance. Lucas does. Lucas grew up with severe OCD and he was on medication for a long time. And he's like, I don't remember it being this early.
Yeah.
But we've talked about how the epigenetics being expressed in Ruby are coming out almost immediately, which I guess makes sense if you're spawning and your genes are expressing. And we are living in a time of awareness. And
yeah, everybody's waking up.
Everybody's waking up.
There's so much to notice.
That when your child is stressing about how dirty her hands are every 10 to 15 minutes from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. And locking doors a certain amount of times and double checking things and
that's so tough because you want her to be able to just be a kid and relax and have fun.
So stressed out.
Dang.
So that's been like my next hurdle as a parent is kind of trying to curb her anxiety about
trying to help her let go.
Yeah, and it's like, can we push? It's impeding her playing, which is always a bummer. And Lucas and I are obviously very tender about it. He more so than I because he has OCD.
Yeah,
and was diagnosed with it,
and he's been through the ringer himself.
He's been through the ringer, yeah.
But it's so, I mean, you guys are already so much further than people who don't diagnose those things, like people who it's just life. You get up, you do what you need to do, and then you go to sleep, and then you get up and you do it again. Instead of like being aware that this thing is taking root or like flourishing inside of her and it's not going to be good for her eventually, like at least now you can notice it and do something about it. What do you need?
Oh, a diaper change. A diaper change. Wait. What?
Let the poop settle. You're going to want to let that poop settle. Milky baby. She she goes.
There's titties up there.
Those are titties. That's where you came from.
I remember we have a titty shower curtain, and Ruby was all about like,
Of course.
whoa, is there milk in all of those?
Give me the milk. I want the milk. Thank you for sharing your dream. I think it takes courage to share those types of things because there's so many people who don't believe in the experience that they don't have themselves. So your testimony, I think, is very important.
Yeah, and I think it was cool when I shared like a vlog about talking to spirits and stuff. So many people were like, man, I had this one thing happen to me when I was a kid, but I blocked it off.
Yeah, and it's like watching that thing about the aliens where all the little kids where the aliens visited. Was that South Africa?
Yeah, nobody believed
Nobody believed them. They all had terrible crises.
And then the Harvard professor that did believe them got scrutinized. It's like, he's like, why are we not allowed to question stuff?
Yeah, since when can we not ask questions and try and figure out the truth? Because the true nature of science is to look for evidence to disprove your hypothesis, you know? If you only sought out information that bolstered what you already believed, then you wouldn't be doing any work. You have to try and find stuff that disproves your hypothesis so that you can know the actual truth and not your own twisted version of it.
It's like crime. You're guilty until proven innocent.
Is that what it is? I thought it was the other way.
That's what they say on paper.
True.
But then I watched American Nightmare, which was about a kidnapping that happened, and
she's tweaking.
And nobody believed her. They were like, you're just, no. And then she was ridiculed, and then the cops didn't do anything, and then a year later somebody else was attempted to be kidnapped, and then they found out it was like this ex-military guy living in his mom's cabin making a jerk-off palace.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh yeah, you're guilty until proven innocent.
So many evil things can come to take place if people don't jerk off right, or
I know.
You know what I mean?
Magic, what were we talking about with incels? We were talking about how it like comes down to just like not being isolated and not having social skills.
Right.
Oh, I definitely just got peed on. That's so funny. And how that isolation, speaking of the American highway.
Yeah.
And lack of walkability.
Ay, Dios.
Okay, yeah, he says no social skills and relying on others to tell you the rules. And it's like, okay, now you mix in 2 cups of fucking lack of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
You've got yourself a petri dish ripe with
aggression
and violence and
false confidence. We just want to help. We just want to help. We're not trying to make you feel bad.
What's going on in Megan's world? We've been off for a week.
Oh, been working. Tomorrow's V-Day. So we're going to release the God Morning America episode that we shot. And I'm really excited about that because I do like a mukbang blind date.
Oh, please tell the audience the filming of the mukbang.
Yeah, so I don't know, we just like set up a table and I pretend like the camera that's right in front of me is my date And I'm like, hey, I'm Megan. I've never been on a blind date before, but this is going to be really fun. And then I just order a shit ton of food. And so on my way to the studio, I picked up $100, $96 worth of Chinese food.
Oh my God.
Because the day before, I had done a brunch class for like a very odd couple. And the gentleman, to make up for how odd the experience was, I guess, tipped me hugely with a $100 bill. And I was like, well, shit.
I got $96.
Like, I keep an envelope of the cash that I get as tips so that I can not spend it. Because if it's in my wallet, it's like,
oh yeah,
it just disintegrates.
Yeah.
So I put it in an envelope that's labeled deposit. So I opened up the envelope and I was like, yeah, I'm taking this $100 bill and I'm buying $96 worth of Chinese food with it. Of course I am. But I also had a shit ton of gyoza dumplings in my freezer because of all the practice that I had been doing. So I was like, I'll just cook all of these off and bring them to the studio and do a fucking mukbang. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really great. By the time this episode comes out, it will have already been out, so go check it out on my YouTube.
Okay, real quick, I'm gonna talk about your creative brilliance. We were working, I think I was helping you with a big class, and you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for the Valentine's Day episode. Maybe I was thinking like spaghetti mukbang, and I was like, like what the fuck? That sounds fucking amazing. And you dressed up like a futuristic babe.
Yeah. I was like, dream date. This is my dream date outfit. But I also had just seen The Matrix at the Alamo because they were showing the Matrix again.
You just bleed brilliant ideas.
But I feel... So here's my thing. I don't feel like I'm the source. I always feel like a funnel or like a channel
That's what the Greeks I can't remember if it was it had to have been the Greeks talking about. That's creativity.
Yeah.
Like
and it feels so good when it just flows. It's so
spaghetti mukbang. Bing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to make a bunch of spaghetti, but I ran out of time because I was trying to write a song. Because Emma texted me and she was like, I love singing with you. I wish we could sing together. I wish we could harmonize together. And I was like, dude, I'll write a song and we can do it for Valentine's Day. Do you need a napkin? Can I help you?
Just keep talking.
She got peed on by her baby who's drinking her milk. I mean, bodily fluids are not a secret. Everybody's got them. You know what I mean? So Emma was just like, we should sing together. So I was trying to write a song. So I wrote kind of an anti-love song about gout. And I don't know. How did it go again? I actually woke up this morning with it in my head. It was like, eat my heart out, please don't get gout. Richness within, illness sets in. Deep red meat, so sickly sweet. My spirit whiskey when I am risky. Pate on white bread, we're better off dead. And all these foods that I mentioned like cause gout. And I was just thinking about how gout is like a rich or it used to be like a rich person's disease because like preserved foods like tinned meats and stuff used to be seen as prestige items. So it's like a king's, like the king has been eating too much liver and red meat and you know, beer and liquor. So I was thinking about that, like that opulence, perceived opulence, but how anything at that large of a dose is like actually really bad for you and can give you gout. And I was likening love to it, you know, how like a certain type of love, not like real love, but like something that's masquerading as love, and it just like infects you and makes you feel pain instead. Yeah, I have kind of a dismal Valentine's view right now. I mean, not literally, but when I wrote that song, I did. No, I feel good. I feel good now. I like her Friar Tuck hairdo. She's got like the
Friar Tuck.
Friar Tuck, 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 tuck. But yeah, I love working with Tyler on God Morning America. Oh, we went to a bar and we met some new friends like the night that we did the shoot, and they have their own podcast called Answer Me These Questions 3. AMTQ3, I think is the name of their pod. So shout out that pod.
Shout out pod.
I told them about our pod, and yeah, that was basically what all we did.
Followers or what?
I didn't see any new followers come through.
That's okay.
But they're not on YouTube. They're on whatever you stream pods on.
Yeah, we do the YouTube for
visualization.
I thought about shutting it down, and then we found out that Nora watches it, and I was like, Nora's my... What is your cousin's child? I mean, to me, it's just like a niece, but it's like, what's your cousin's child? Your second cousin?
Me and my family go over this all the time when I visit, because my cousin, like my equal age family members, are not actually my cousins. They're my cousin's kids. So they're like my second cousins. Or they're like my first cousins twice removed or some shit. I can never remember. There's no room in my brain for that kind of stuff. I got some new books. I got one called Women Warriors, and it's all about like
Xena, the warrior princess.
Basically just like women throughout history who have proven the exception to the rule, you know? Like, oh, women don't go to war, they're not built for it, the uterus is a handicap, all this stuff. But it's like, no, these women suited up, fought for their country, fought for their families, fought for whatever. I don't know, I just have this morbid fascination with war.
I cannot wait to hear.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I literally sat down in bed. I had just made my coffee. I was like, I'm fucking starting a new book, brother. Here we go. Crack the book. Phone rings.
Do they know? They know.
And it was my brother, and I ignored him yesterday because I was in the middle of something much more important. And so I talked to him for it was the free call, so it was just 5 minutes. And then I had to go to work. But I will be reading it much, much more. And I will report back. I also got a book called Life is in the Transitions. And it's like the subtitle is Mastering Change at Any Age. Damn. And I remember just like opening it while I was at the library, seeing if I should pick it up. And there were these two examples that I read. And I was like, oh shit, they were both really poignant. I don't remember exactly what they were about, but it was something about death rights or like customs that people undertake as a result of someone leaving. And I was like, I want this one too. And I got a third one that I'm not too sure about. It's like food hope or something. It's just like too far reaching. It's like how you can save the planet, your diet, your community, and your asshole all through changing what you eat. And I'm like, maybe.
I've discovered as I get older that I can pick up a book, and I made this huge discovery because I recently purchased a book from Greg Graffin from Bad Religion. He wrote a book called Punk Paradox. was like, God, I'm crushing it because he's such a good writer.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, wow, the last 6 books I've fucking picked up were written not well.
Damn.
And that makes all of the difference. And also realize that like the title can sometimes be clickbaity, for a better word.
Definitely.
Where it's all fat, and then it's like, where's the nougat?
Do you want to come over here? Watch out for the cords.
We had a stage 5 full diaper.
This tastes like hamburger. I'm not kidding.
Like a cheeseburger or like a ketchup hamburger?
We got cheeseburger flavored chips.
May I taste?
Tell me what you describe, and I'll tell you what I found the predominant flavors to be.
I get a little bit of pickle and a little bit of mustard and a little bit of cheese. What about you?
I mostly got cheese and mustard.
Yeah.
And that kind of freaked me out.
That's crazy. I don't hate it. I'd rather have a cheeseburger.
Yeah, me too.
What do you say, Ruby?
I will say HEB's
Chicken butt.
pot roast flavored chips.
When you say, guess
Slam.
what? And then you say
Hey, Ruby, guess what?
chicken butt.
Guess why?
She's happy if you want it. I changed her diaper.
Guess what?
We're almost done.
Chicken thigh?
No. No, I say chicken.
Oh.
Uh-oh, you bonked Mom.
What?
So when you say chicken butt, you have to say guess what, and then say chicken butt. But no other people can say the chicken butt because only one person. Guess what?
Savannah. 5
Chicken
minutes.
butt.
Sounds good. Hey, Whitney, guess what? I felt the air rise up and me kneel down and clear
You
the
got
sun.
any fucking Mool's free bookings?
I got 2 people.
Fuck yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't really want to do it at all.
Oh, why'd you do it then?
Because, like, last month, Cozy Meal reached out and they were like, Hi,
Oh, this
Chef
is a
Megan.
Cozy meal thing.
Your Mool Free class is being heavily promoted on our Valentine's Day push, and you don't have any dates listed. And then there was a back and forth like, I don't want to do this class for $95, with all due respect. You have classes where people learn to make only macaron, and they are $99 a person. And this class of mine has mussels, fries, niçoise salad, saffron aioli, and macaron.
Dude, that saffron aioli though.
The saffron aioli is a dorp.
And
But
extremely
yeah, so
expensive.
I was just like, I will do this class for $105 a person if I take the macarons off. So eventually I did, and I turned it into lemon sorbet. But now nobody wants to book it. I think the draw is the macaron. That's why I wanted to make it more expensive, because it's like a fucking gauntlet. It's like, everybody stretch and drink water, because this is going to take us fucking forever to make all this shit. We are making fucking a banquet.
Marvel at your brunch menu. I have no idea how you do that solo with more than 6 people.
It's just been the same thing for 3 years,
So
except for the
you just
sausage
don't
gravy.
Even fucking think about it.
Yeah, ma'am.
I have to pick up my cat at the vet and like right now after I pick up my cat.
Do you have a carrier for her?
No,
Okay, well, get a carrier and then I'll help you.
I don't have one.
Okay, well, we can't get the cat then. What do you feel inside just now?
I saw that there's a lady. It said Megan.
Eh?
Oh, is that a lady?
Megan Pathos.
Shit.
Are you...
Are you?
Do you
still
identify
there?
as female?
It's in the sea. I'm like, wait, do you see that? Long
Yo
hair?
ho, yo ho.
Oh,
Oh!
oh. I'm like, well, nobody wants.
Hello, dude. Do you want to sit on the couch?
And I have to go pick up my cat.
Oh, okay.
You
All right.
eating a veggie fry? All right. Guess what?
Oh, dude, I was
Guess
thinking.
how? Chicken cow?
So real quick. I watched these incredible documentaries. I watched the Kurt Vonnegut documentary, but I also watched this documentary about this Chinese filmmaker, Chinese American, I think. He made a doc about his two grandmothers, his mother's mother and his father's mother. So these two women met when their kids got married, essentially, and they became best friends. And so...
Wait, this is the Kurt Vonnegut doc?
No, two separate things.
Okay.
I watched the one about Kurt
Yes,
Vonnegut
yeah.
and the one about these two grandmothers. And it was so beautiful, and I just like was laying in my bed like oozing tears into my pillow because of how beautiful and happy it made me feel that they had found like such a beautiful friendship. They like sleep in the same bed together. They just dance around and like fart and like joke all the time. And it made me write down the elders need the youngsters' energy and vibrance, because they were saying like to their grandkid, like, when you're not home, it's not like this. We don't have as much fun. We don't feel as alive. We don't laugh as much.
In one of those Denmarkian, Swedish, Nordic countries,
Yeah.
they have a daycare inside of an elderly home.
Yes. So the elders need the youngsters for their youthful vibrance, exuberance, you know, their brilliance, their creativity coming through.
Hi, peeps.
But the youngsters need the guidance and the wisdom of the elders.
Yes.
Look, she jumped up right over here.
Ruby wants a cat.
I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why are they separate? Isn't that weird?
But it just goes back to the thing we're always harping on about how the extended family, and this is something that Kurt Vonnegut talks about it at length in the documentary about his life, how we need people around us. We need extended family. And if you don't have like biological extended family, you can go and like create your extended family like I did down here. But that, I didn't know there would be similarities between those two docs that I was watching for no reason, but they both resonated the same kind of message, like
Where
you
did
need
find these
people.
docs?
I turned on Hulu to watch Bob's
Hulu?
Burgers.
I'll add the grandma one sounds.
Well,
Well, even having an extended family in town, you're like, this is a freaking dream.
yeah.
Just connection and conversation and camaraderie. And I often feel like a nerdy outcast until this was before you and I established our trifecta. But I would go visit my cousin, and she's exactly like me. And I'm like,
Oh!
it's so good. Even though we don't live by each other, it's just, it's really nice to know that somebody else out there thinks and struggles and feels the same way I do. Even if they don't live by me.
Yeah. American isolationism. It's a topic that we hit on a lot because we see that its effects in everything we do.
Yeah. All the time, especially, I'm not even going to talk about the news. That's for next time.
Thank you so much for joining
us.
us.
Thanks for anybody who brings extra people in to join our beautiful hour. It's not weird.
We're communing. We commune with each other and we commune with our guests.
I'm also seeing this like beautiful peanut butter jelly smear on my couch. It's like kind of green.
Yum. Yum, yum.
Good to see you guys. Talk to you soon. I don't hope I wasn't blowing everybody's eardrums out.
Talk to you soon.